All right, so it looks like we are 5Q at the moment, and we've already, after like 10 games, we've already caught back up to where we started when I started my first sort of account like this on Fox, which is just showing you how quickly you rank up on Pandanet versus any other server. Well, I guess maybe KGS and OGS you can rank up faster. Just got to refine the right people to play. But let's try to get into the game and just see how it goes. Maybe there'll be a significant difference between the, 7Qs and the 5Qs. We'll find out. So already one difference between these players. The game took significantly longer to get, but it still wasn't too bad. We're going to probably stick with 4-4s, depending on what my opponent plays. I do one off. Yeah, I'll stick to 4-4s. This should be fun. And I personally don't like to let them get a good formation that like they're trying to here, but I'm going to see what happens this time, and I'm just going to back off. I wonder if they will go for the Kobayashi or not. They are going to go for it. Okay. So a long time ago, it used to be said that we needed to approach from far away, but it is fine to go close now. However, I think I'm going to play the far away move like I used to play it. I used to do this 2-space high. Then when they responded, I would often jump back to approach here. And then if they push underneath, I felt like this was a good enough exchange because it's almost like they played the enclosure and I did a shoulder hit. But in this case, they're trying to do something more complicated. And you know what? I'm not going to be complicated. I'm going to take the corner. I've already shoulder hitted their stone. So I think this is a perfectly acceptable way to reduce their influence already. So I don't need to do anything extra here. I was hoping we'd be able to show the exact sort of thing that I used to do, but it's okay. We'll just have to play it differently here. Maybe a mistake, maybe not. I don't know. But I will just connect. We don't want to ever let our shape get completely destroyed. So just connecting should be good. And normally when they push like this, we like to extend. But because they did this peep, maybe now we can actually punish them a little bit by playing the Hane, because the cut doesn't work. So I will Hane. Small punishment, meaning that we get a little bit more on the top side, but still significant, I think. I also think that I'm probably strong enough to even do a double Hane here. Try to sort of come around their area. And instead of trying to be too aggressive here, we have multiple cutting points. We are just going to connect one of ours and let their cutting point sit. A sort of proper shape at this point would be to jump away or Hane again. But there is something that's a little bit different on this board. I already have this move here that's sort of trying to reduce my opponent. So I actually think I want to follow up with this move first, and I don't want to keep giving them strength to surround me. Since I already have this move, I want to continue on. We can block directly, but I think the more modern way is often to push down first. If they block on the 4-4, then we can turn. And if they push here, then we're able to block here and Hane, giving us a nice amount of forcing moves to get really strong in the local area. And instead of playing this tiger's mouth, often we want to prevent the Hane at the head of 2 and 3 stones. If they get to Hane there, it really hurts our shape. So I'm going to extend. They could have tried to be a little bit more aggressive with like a clamp or something to try to hurt my shape. Since they're pushing me from behind on the second line, I'm okay to extend here. Even if they go to peep the shape, this is still sort of like the better way to play it. Sort of an interesting move there. They're threatening to connect up their stones. So the question we really need to ask ourselves is if we turn, does this help us make eye shape? If it does not help us make eyes, then we should not turn. We should just run away first. If we turn, then we get this Hane and connect. We can jump again to make eyes. So that is at least like one eye here. And this is 100% what you should check. Turning here does seem to give us that. So I'm okay with turning here right now. As I said, if it did not give us anything, I would want to avoid it. But since it does give us something, I don't want to avoid it. And here, we also have to be a little bit careful in how we respond. If we just attach and pull back and they connect, then we have to go back and connect, then they can surround us on one side, and that's no good. You don't have to necessarily respond to this move directly. You should respond in the way that helps you escape better. In this case, I think jumping this direction is getting us out faster. So that's what I want to do. So this will be a little bit of reading, but if we push, then they cut, we Atari, we Hane. That doesn't do anything because they can Atari us and capture our stones. I will just sort of defend myself. I'm going to defend myself like, I don't know which way I want to do it. If I do it with this move, I can make another eye if I play one more move. I think that's the goal. When defending your shape here, if you just connect, you can't make eyes with that. If you play this way, they could extend and get rid of your eyes. So I want to do something that can give me a potential eye. So I'm going to play this way. I'm always looking for my eye shape whenever I can. So they're saying that I am completely surrounded, and I agree. So I'm just going to focus on making my eyes here. I'm going to push here. I don't want to cut. Like I could cut and try something else. I'm just going to make my eyes, right? So I'm going to turn here. This threatening the double Atari. That's why I wanted to push first. And now I likely have one eye here. And so I want to see if I can get another eye on the side of the board before I move out. Because I'm looking for eyes right now. I'm not looking for running away. So I'm going to Hane here to see if I can get an eye in the corner. Okay. After this connection, the jump here helps me get an eye. Okay, they peep, so I'll connect. I want to make sure this eye is still here. Oh, now they're playing away. Okay, we need to make sure that we're alive before we think about anything else. If they jump down here, can we make another eye? We'll have to go somewhere else to make the eye. I think we can probably make another eye on the bottom because we can threaten to come out and all that sort of stuff. But it does look like it's a little bit annoying to do. Because we have the opportunity, because they decided to stop pressuring us, we want to block in a way that gives us Sente so that we can potentially come back. So I'm going to just block towards the top side. This seems like the side my group would be the strongest on if it's facing that way. And we will just extend. So now I want to go back and make sure my group is 100% safe. I do think I can make two eyes, but it's a complicated reading thing. So if they continued, I would have to continue. Since they didn't continue, I'm going to make sure that my group is fine. I know I can make an eye if I jump here. For sure, I know that. So instead of jumping here right away, I want to jump over to the other side. Threaten another area where I can make another eye. We'll extend up whenever you're kicked. You usually want to extend. This is making some awkward shape for them. So I'm just going to leave this sort of awkward shape for them after this Hane here. When I say awkward, it means now I have this Atari and I can cut and maybe there's something here. So after this, we're pretty much going to be alive here. Should I do anything special? I think the better shape to make is probably just this tiger's mouth here. And I'm not going to worry about this one. We're just going to go back here and play. They decided to just respond to everything. So now we'll just go make sure we're 100% live. I think extending down might have been the better way to do it, but it's okay. Here we just want to separate, like make sure they can't make a base on the top side. Extend up. They couldn't make a base. Now we're strong as well. And we can actually push and cut through here if we really want to, but I don't really think it matters too much. We can probably just go and play some other sort of big move somewhere. I guess I should read it out to see. If we wedge and connect, they fix this side, we get to cut in some way. Looks a little annoying, so I won't worry about it. Instead, we'll just go back and play as at a big move. We're going to take our corner over here, make sure it's solid. Nice, they jumped up. And I don't really think I'm too worried about the points in this little area here. This was mostly about a base. So I do think I also want to follow up in the upper left corner, which is attaching here. Really cool move. Just a Joseki follow-up. If you want to learn it, you should just study. There are a bunch of variations that can be played. Okay, so they're just going to give it up. So we will Atari on the outside here. And we get to fix our area. Because we have these two supporting stones, I'm going to connect solidly. Normally you do like the double tiger's mouth, but if they cut, we can just net the stone. So I think that should be fine. They're peeping here. I guess that's fine. I will answer so they don't get more moves here. Yep. My corner is already alive, so this stone is not important. Now we can just continue on with playing big moves towards the left side. That seems to be the next biggest area. And also messing with this stuff here. This could be fun to actually show some of the audio that's available. For example, if we do this clamp here, threatening to connect up underneath, which makes a lot of sense. Kind of a fun thing to do. Then we can also jump here to peep. You know, if we can cut this off, that would be a pretty big deal. And then now we're able to just connect up our groups here with this diagonal move. Oh, they don't want to let that happen. So now we can potentially cut through things. These first three moves, or two moves, I guess, were just forcing moves. They don't really matter. So even if they get to capture this, it's not that big of a deal. So I don't know if you noticed what I did here. I pushed through here and did this Hane, which means that when I cut, it is now the Hane at the head of two stones. So now I'm going to cut here, which is threatening these two stones and threatening the stones on the other side here. Depending on how they respond, we might be able to see a really cool Tesuji. Okay, Atari up. They're really going to fight here. When it comes to this sort of local fighting thing, it's 100% just about reading. You don't really need to do anything too difficult here. For example, if we just turn, we can then cut next. If they connect, we can Atari, and then kill it all. So we're just going to turn first. That's the first part of the reading. And the second part of the reading is what happens after we Hane over the top of their stone on this side. If we Hane over here and they block, then we can Atari directly and then connect. And so that looks like that works. So let's do that. They protect one side, we get to go after the other side. Since they are protecting that, we just need to make sure our cutting points are okay, because what was going to happen before is if they block, we Atari, they connect, we extend, then they Atari us here, we have to extend, and then they couldn't capture our stone. In this case, they can now capture the stone, so we just need to connect in some way. If we do a tiger's mouth, that's the most normal shape. We should have to make sure there's no throw-in or anything. If we want to be 100% certain of our liberties and without any throw-ins, we can connect solidly instead. You're just making sure that we'll have enough liberties if they do sort of try to fight back here. Oh, and he connected too, because there is still Aji there, which is kind of annoying for them, but it wasn't too big of a deal. So now that this is cleanly captured here, I think the next step is probably going back to the left side, honestly, but the next step locally would be to jump out one more time. If we jump out one more time, we're making sure that the center is under our control. It also looks like it's probably not too big of a deal either. And this was why I said that I wasn't too worried about this area, because there is a lot of weakness locally. Because it was hard to read, that's why I wanted to see if I could get something on the other side before going back to living. But in this case, I'm just going to go back to take the left side of the board. My focus is actually going to be on reduction and not just taking the left side. So if I'm just taking the left side, I'll do a one space jump and just take it. But since I want to also reduce this area, I'm going to play the large knight's move. This means that they could jump into the left side, but my focus again is on the more reduction aspect here instead. Okay, so they're going to capture that stone. It's not too important. So I guess the thing we have to really read now is what if they do connect up underneath? Well, we Atari, and then we live. Okay, so is there anything else they could do? Maybe they extend first? No, extending does not work. They could throw into the corner first. I don't believe that works either. So it looks like as long as we're alive here, this capture doesn't really matter. If you're having a hard time reading, then yeah, just capture the stone and you won't have to worry about it. And that's what I might just do here anyway, because maybe there is something I'm going to miss. So let's just capture the stone. Probably better to extend, but if you're looking for eye space, capturing is the better way to make sure you have two eyes. We'll just connect here. As I said, the top wasn't points that I really cared about. Our goal here is just to maintain our connection on this side. They can connect up if they really want to. We really don't care. And as you see, while they did get some points here, this connection towards the center is working with that stone that I played a while ago now. We can probably just go and probably just take this whole area if we really want to. Maybe that's the right idea. Just play another move to basically just capture the points. Sure, let's do that. I like playing large knights moves when I'm trying to take points here like this. It just feels very comfortable. All right, we need to separate the groups. And we need to keep separating the groups, or just capture now. Could be fine. But I'm just going to keep separating. We're going to get the triple Hane in. Looks awesome. 100% just for fun here, I got to be honest. Okay, I will extend out. We got to make sure we stay as connected as we can. It's okay if they get rid of these points. It's not really that big of a deal. Oh, we could actually double Hane again, because this is a Hane at the head of 3 stones. So if we double Hane again, this could actually mean we could do something. But in this case, I'm just going to extend so that I don't give them any extra forcing moves, because we want to make sure they try to live. So we're just going to keep extending to make sure we are connecting our stones and also protecting our cutting points. These extension moves protect our cutting points. Yep, just going to connect again. See, we've now made sure all of our groups are fairly strong. If they go to cut at one side, we have a net. If they protect the other side, we can protect our cutting point here if we really have to. And now they're trying to make life. And I think this is potentially the wrong side, but it's not too big of a deal. So the first thing we need to do is we need to just make sure they don't have a base here as best we can. Normally that would be the slide here. But because we have this Hane at the head of 2 stones shape, we can actually jump here instead. Because if they push through, it gets to capture their stones, so they cannot push through. Which means that when they're doing this sort of stuff, we can push through and not push our own area and not worry about it. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think just pushing again is probably fine. I had to think about it though, just to make sure. And something to really consider here is if we can actually just kill, because it actually seems possible, I have to be honest, because they do not have enough eye shape and we are very strong locally. If they push and cut here, we can just capture the stone and connect up underneath. And if they Atari us from this side, we capture the stone as well. And they try to make this sort of shape here. We just go down, and they can't really make an eye with that. So it's 100% just about reading. We probably don't have to, but I kind of want to when it comes to the killing thing here. To play the safest move, I probably want to peep directly. If they do anything special, we're probably fine here. So I'm just going to peep directly. This is like a protecting my cutting point type of peep. And then we're going to peep again here, because if we get to push in, that's only one eye. And now we can throw in directly. We just have to be 100% certain. You should try to be 100% certain if it works or not. So they Hane over here. We can still just block. Hane again. We just pull back. It looks like it's perfectly fine. They do have maybe this Hane to try to make a Ko of some sort, but I think it doesn't work. So we're going to throw in and see if we're right. Yep, we got a block here. They want to try to do the Ko thing, but in this case, we will do a empty triangle. This was the move I was looking at a later point. If they tried to do the Hane first, because the empty triangle would be potentially cutting here. So now we can block directly. And now I'm peeping at this cutting point. So now they have to protect the cutting point or try to connect underneath. They can't try to do both, and they can't connect underneath either. So it is just a shape that doesn't quite work for them. So now this is where we have to be very careful. Do we want to leave cutting points, or do we want to play as safe as possible? In this case, I want to play as safe as possible. We don't have to block. Blocking leaves cutting points, leaves Aji. So we can actually just extend instead. If this group is dead, they're not breaking into our territory. They're part of the territory, so we don't need to worry about defending it. If we thought they were alive, that's when we'd have to block to make sure we still got points. Yep, and so now we can block with all not leaving too many cutting points, not leaving anything that we have to worry about. So we can just block here now. So now we have this net on the outside with this cut. We can net this other stone over here, so this doesn't matter for a cut as well. Our corner is very, very solid, and we don't really have any cutting points anywhere else either, because they can all just be captured directly. In this case, we're going to make the bamboo joint to make sure that our group is all connected. This is why you don't usually want to try to do a direct invasion. What they should have done was they should have just tried to reduce it a little bit earlier, or they should have been playing for eye shape instead. This capture is just a small capture. It is not too big of a deal. So we can just get on to playing some big endgame stuff, because so for them, that was a big endgame move. If they block over here and we go to capture, they can give up the one stone and still get something. So I might want to play another move here. It's probably actually one of the bigger moves. And attaching here on the bottom side is pretty big too. I don't know which one I think is bigger. I think since I'm safe on the other side, I'm going to start with this attachment, because I want something that affects both of our sides, not just my own side. Okay, just connect. Yep. Got to make sure we stay connected, stay blocking everything. We're also giving them some bad liberties on this group. So if we cut now, this is actually kind of a dangerous situation for them. So we will cut. This is why you actually don't want to waste your liberties when doing something like this. You want to make sure that you are not doing that. 100% make sure you are not doing that. In this case, this is no good for them. So it ends up being way bigger than I thought it would be. Yep, just a nice squeeze and ladder-ish type of problem. If they didn't take away their own liberty there, I would not have been able to do it. That's something very, very important to point out. So actually, if we go back to this game here, let me open up the record. If we go back to this moment here, as I said, liberties are super, super important. So you always need to be careful of it. And that's why I kept reading my liberties on these 3 stones from earlier before I went to go try to kill this group. I kept reading them over and over and over again. And it's the same as what happened on the right side. I made sure to keep reading my liberties over again to make sure that I could do something there. Most of the time, in this bottom area, you're supposed to block first. White gets this tiger's mouth. Then you can connect, and then it's sort of a Hane and connect type of problem afterwards. In this case, it's not necessarily Sente, so I may not do this Hane and connect. This is where I might want to go back and play the other move I was thinking about, where I make sure that I'm getting all the points in this local area. But this is sort of the normal variation. But if you wanted to peep here, because there's potential cutting points in the corner, you could do it now, but you have to now go back and block, because when we do this and they block like they did in the game, they are now perfectly fine. There's no throw-in that they can do because we have one more liberty. No throw-in that we can do, I guess. Always, always, always think about your liberties. And so even if you didn't read it out, the thing to remember is it important for you to take away your own liberty right now, right? So if we're pushing here, that means I'm not blocking anymore. We're pushing because we're cutting, right? If you're not going to push through, then you shouldn't be, if you're not going to cut, then you shouldn't be trying to push through, right? So we're pushing through so that we can cut right away. In this case, the cut doesn't work, but that would be the reason why you're doing this. And it's, as I said before, it's actually the same as what happened earlier in the game. If we go back all the way to this fight, well, it went a little bit further back than I thought. If we go back all the way, oh, look at that. What's it doing? That's funny. It doesn't want to go fast. Oh, yeah, it keeps going back. That's a little bit weird. Anyway, there we go. The clicking works. If we go back to this fight over here, when I cut here, what I'm really doing, as I said, is the Haunted Head of Two Stones. Haunted Head of Two Stones is about taking away the liberties. They don't have that many good liberties anymore. So they Atari me up here and they push. What I'm looking at for this reading again is just the idea that they don't have that many liberties. So if I take a liberty from this group, I can likely do something. That's the first starting point for reading the position. So if they do this, then we know that this is an Atari. If we get to capture these two stones, we're happy. So that's good enough. And so if we extend up here, this is probably good enough here, right? We capture these 4 stones. It's unlikely that they can do anything here. If you're worried about any sort of Aji, this is when you can actually still take another liberty from the outside, another liberty, and then we capture it in that sort of spiral ladder type of problem. A squeeze spiral ladder thing, whatever you want to call it, which is actually the same exact shape that was in that bottom left area, except we're playing it in a different order, where we're playing the throw-in as the Atari, and then we're Ataring on the outside. So normally this type of problem would be like, we had this position, then we have to figure out how to kill from here, which is the throw-in and then Atari. And I said, it's actually the same exact shape that we saw later at the very end of the game. This is the same Haunted Head of 2 and 3 stones, which is a shortage of liberties problem. Almost always, that is the reason why the Haunted Head of 2 stones is a bad shape to play. We're just reducing the amount of liberties possible. I did want to mention one more thing before stopping. I think I played this one a little bit wrong here. I wanted to Hane, but then I realized it just wasn't that good. So what I was looking at was the idea that I want to sort of cut here, but right now I'm not going to cut here because they're probably just fine. Like this whole area is probably just okay. I don't need to worry about it. If I'm going to go back and live now, I should probably do it right now, or I should probably try to do something else over here, like extending down, right? If they block, now we can maybe live this way and this way, right? I did not do that right. This Hani ended up being bad because I'm not going to be cutting. It's actually the same sort of mistake as the thing that happened in the corner, which is why I wanted to mention it. He pushed in, got rid of his liberties, and didn't cut. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm playing this Hane, threatening to cut, but I'm not cutting. So if I'm not going to do that, I should leave it for now and either go back to be 100% alive to make sure that my group is fine, or I should do that cut or like not play the move that is threatening the cut. Either one. Do the cut, don't threaten the cut. So even at my level, I'm still making those same types of mistakes. They're just a little bit different as you get up higher in level. In this case, if I thought about it a little bit more, I might not have done it, but it was still my first instinct, so I should probably think about that a little bit more. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Have fun!